Hello, Flawless family. We are back again with another great opportunity to have another great conversation. This time, I'm joined by Lisa Sharkey, who is a Senior Vice President at HarperCollins Publishers since 2007. She's a two-time Emmy Award-winning journalist, a certified yoga instructor, and of course, a mother. So thank you, Lisa, for joining us.
Thank you for having me. This is the first time I have done my hair, taken off my glasses, put on makeup, and dressed in something other than a yoga outfit in weeks. So I appreciate that. And I've got my trusty dog Carter right here, and he's joining. Well, he's a little tired.
Hello, Carter, to you too. But yeah, Lisa, I mean, for me, we've been doing a lot of self-care challenges. And one of the first things that I said a few weeks ago is that I'm reading. My mother's an avid reader. She just told me the other day she read 700 books over the last 2 years, which is really impressive.
Oh,
yeah. So,
spirit animal.
Exactly, I know. So something that I'm trying to get into myself. So I guess my first question for you is, what books do you recommend right now?
Well, I feel like you can divide it into categories. So a lot of people are missing things in their life that they might have really been excited about. For example, the baseball season. So now would be a really good time for people who are baseball fans to read like a baseball memoir. So I'm looking here to see if I've got a baseball memoir. And what do you know? I do. I have Tony La Russa, one of the winningest coaches in the world of baseball ever, a book called One Last Strike, which details his 50 years in baseball and the championship series that allowed the St. Louis Cardinals to win the World Series in 2011. And so, this book really takes you inside the dugout, inside the bullpen, inside the mind of a manager, and it teaches you about personalization, and it teaches you about overcoming obstacles, and how if one thing doesn't work out, like his career as an athlete, maybe something else might work out, like his career as an MLB manager. So I think inspirational stories in a time when you might not be able to do things that you thought you could do. For example, Lori Hernandez, she was training to compete in the Olympics, right, in Japan. They've just moved it, but she did win. She was the first ever Latina American young woman to win a gold medal in the Olympics. So if you have middle grade kids right now, she wrote a book called I Got This. So it's to gold and beyond, and it's her story. And it's really cute because they call her the human emoji because she's got such an expressive face. And so every chapter has like an emoji. So it's for middle grade, like 8 to 12-year-olds. But this is a really good time to be reading with your kids. I know a lot of people have children who are already having to study and they're doing Zoom classes and things, but there's also an opportunity there for you to, like you never have before, read a book alongside your child. Another Olympic athlete who recently retired, Lindsey Vonn. This is a great book for now because she wrote a book called Strong is the New Beautiful. And inside this book, and these are all available, you just go to your independent bookseller online and you can click and you can get the book delivered from your indie bookstore or from Barnes & Noble or Amazon. But she's got a lot of really good workouts that you could do at home. So I think, now is the time for self-care. And to that end, if you've been watching the coverage at all of the coronavirus, and of course, pretty much we all have been, if you've watched on ABC at all, you see Dr. Jennifer Ashton. She is the ABC News, Good Morning America, World News Tonight, Nightline chief medical correspondent for ABC News, doing a phenomenal job translating some of this pretty complicated stuff into a very honest and real explanation of what's going on with this global pandemic. Before all of this happened, she wrote a couple of books for my team. This one just came out, actually, and it's called The Self-Care Solution. And she had been through a really rough time in her life. Her children's father had taken his own life. She wrote a book about that called Life After Suicide, which came out a year ago, May. But this book really took her for an entire year through how she took care of herself. So the first month, she did dry January. The second month, she does planks and push-ups. The third month, she does meditation in March. So basically, this book takes you through an entire year in which she attempts to make herself a better person, and she's a relentless self-improver. And this is about self-care. Self-care is sort of the word of the day right now. So there's a lot of books on this topic, and I've brought a number of them to talk to you about, but I really would recommend this one. So it'll teach you about cardio, plant-based eating, hydration, taking more steps, mindful technology, cutting down on sugar, stretching, sleep, and maybe most importantly, laughter. So this book has been something that a lot of people have been buying. Everybody wants self-care, and this is her story, how as a doctor and in a way her own experimenter, her own patient sort of, she was able to enhance her life in so many ways by doing this month-by-month experiment. And you could do this, you don't have to do it month by month, you could do it week by week, you could do it day by day, but I highly recommend this book.
Wow, I absolutely love how you gave us different genres and different resources from sports to self-care. Really appreciate that. But something else you mentioned was how it's easy to order online. So I want to see if you could talk more about the different ways that we can get books. For example, maybe ordering from small bookstores to support them, because as we know, this is a tough time for everybody. So maybe help out some small bookstores. What do you think about that to help those stores?
Yeah, I think it's really important to be able to help out your small independent bookstore. And if you go, for example, to hc.com, HarperCollins.com, if you go to any book that you want, it'll show you a page to buy that book. In order to buy that book, it'll show you different places. You can buy Amazon, you can buy Barnes & Noble, or you can click to buy it at IndieBound. IndieBound is the place where the independent bookstores sell their books. And you can have your book shipped and delivered. Just so you know, you can also get your ebook or your audiobook that way. So you can also go to Libro.fm for your audiobook. So while Amazon is very important as a retailer in this country, they have, in some cases, slowed their book deliveries because they have so many critical medical things and food and other things to send. So you can certainly order from there, but you can also order from Barnes & Noble. A lot of stores are still doing curbside pickup, but I highly recommend that you go to your local bookstore's website and you order directly from your local bookstore, or go to indiebound.com, and there you will find the list of all of the independent bookstores in the country, and you can order from yours. A few other really important books I want to talk about. If you're a young, Gen Z, you might know who Russ is. He's a rapper. A lot of people are looking for inspiration, and they don't necessarily want to find it from older people. They want someone who's their age, who speaks their language, and Russ does exactly that. His book is called It's All in Your Head, and each chapter is based on one of his song titles. So it's divided into 3 parts: delusion, persistence, and gratitude. And he talks about being not only confident, but in a good way, arrogant about your talents. He said he thought he was the best in the world even when he stunk, and now he is one of the biggest rappers in the world. This book is also a really beautiful keepsake. It is designed with 4 colors and just really beautiful chapter openers. I'm going to read you one inspirational quote that I really very much respond to with Russ. Let's see if I can find it real. Yeah, I like this one. He says, this is from one of his songs, MVP. He says, "I looked up at the sky long enough, I grew wings." Really important quote. And if you want to go old school, because this book is now probably 30 years old, The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho. I mean, this is one of the most successful books of all time. It's a fable, it's a novel, it's about an alchemist. And this book was actually printed at an independent bookstore on something called the Espresso Book Machine. That's a print-on-demand system that a number of independent bookstores have, so that even if they don't have your book in stock, you can actually, within 5 minutes, get your book printed through this machine. And you can also use the Espresso Book Machine program to print and write your own book. So highly recommend The Alchemist if you've never read that. Also, Thich Nhat Hanh, very important book about fear. He says, without fear, we are able to see more clearly our connections to others. Without fear, we have more room for understanding and compassion. Without fear, we are truly free. I mean, a lot of people are experiencing fear right now, but on the other side of fear is love. On the other side of fear is freedom and happiness. And so if you want to understand how to free yourself from fear, listen to what's going on, not walk around afraid all day, reduce the stress, take care of yourself. Highly recommend this book. One of my favorite tiny little books that I just like to keep and have had for many years is just Dalai Lama's Book of Transformation. It's a Buddhist book, obviously, because the Dalai Lama is the head of Tibetan Buddhists all over the world. And he says, and it's similar to Thich Nhat Hanh, who's also a Buddhist monk or was, it says, in all my deeds, may I probe into my mind, may I strongly confront them and avert them. So it's about averting mental and emotional afflictions in your mind. So, sometimes you don't need to have a big, thick, heavy book. Here's another book that I really like. This is out of HQ, which is HarperCollins in the UK, and it's all about breathing. It's how to breathe. It's a concise guide to letting go and finding peace in a messy world by taking the time to breathe. And this is beautifully designed, really amazing. And it talks about the importance of proper breathing. And then these are two huge best-selling books by Rachel Hollis, Girl Wash Your Face and Girl Stop Apologizing. These, I would say, are in the self-help category, but they're not specifically telling you what to do. They're more her story, and inside the learning of her story, you sort of realize how you can live your life based on how she's lived hers. So these are really good. One more that I just want to talk about that just came out. It's called Old School Love. So if you like rap and you like the OG, you got Rev Run from Run DMC and his wife Justine. They're celebrating 25 years of marriage. And this is a book. Remember I said on the other side of fear is love. This book is purely about love. It's written with Amy Ferris, who's an extraordinarily gifted writer. And each chapter is about a different kind of love. So I'm just going to read you a little tiny sentence from the introduction. This is a book about love, good love, kind love, respectful love, messy love, genuine love, powerful love, enduring love, generous love, magical love, old school love. So these are people that have been married for a really long time, and they talk about how to navigate that. A lot of people right now are trapped in their house with their spouse, and they are at odds with one another. This book will teach you how not to be at odds. And if you don't have that significant other in your life, highly recommend this book by Shan Boodram, also known as Shan Boody. She is a sexologist, and she is I would say, the mistress of desire. The game of desire teaches you how to get out of your own way and how to use the shit that really works to find yourself someone in your life who's going to be your life partner. There are so many exercises and quizzes to get you inside what you've been doing wrong your whole life, to teach you how to have the skills. Now's the time to do it. You're home alone, right? You can't swipe left and go meet someone anywhere. You can meet yourself where you are and learn to get out of your own way. So she took 6 women, we narrowed them down from 250 women and put them through this sort of desire love boot camp. And they all came out on the other end completely transformed. Highly recommend this book.
Wow. So you just name dropped a lot of great books, a lot of big names. So someone else I want you to speak on a little bit is Amy Morin and some of the work that she's doing right now.
Right. So Amy Morin is a 3-time author. This is her first book. It's called 13 Things Mentally Strong People Don't Do. She's also written a book called 13 Things Mentally Strong Parents Don't Do. And a lot of parents are going to need that right now because they're trapped at home with their kids. And the one that she recently did is called 13 Things Mentally Strong Women Don't Do. So this book contains 13 things that you should stop doing right now if you want to be mentally strong. And this book came about because Amy had suffered some very serious tragedies in her life. First, in her young 20s, her mom suddenly passed away. She was married, and 3 years after the sudden passing of her mother, she and her husband went to commemorate that time, and her 20-something-year-old husband then suddenly passed away, which was a double devastating blow to her. She eventually did find love again, and then her new father-in-law was diagnosed with a terminal illness, at which point it just really hit her, and she felt that she was just overcome with weakness. And she sat down and she wrote this list of 13 things mentally strong people don't do. So I'm just going to read you the list. They don't waste time feeling sorry for themselves. They don't give away their power. They don't shy away from change. They don't focus on things they cannot control. They don't worry about pleasing everyone. They don't fear taking calculated risks. They don't dwell on the past. They don't make the same mistakes over and over. They don't resent other people's success. They don't give up after the first failure. They don't fear alone time. They don't feel the world owes them anything. And number 13, they don't expect immediate results. So this book takes you through how to conquer all of these things and really become stronger, more confident, more self-assured. And, you know, being mentally strong doesn't mean that you can't suffer from anxiety. It doesn't mean you aren't depressed. It doesn't mean that you aren't in some ways human. It just teaches you, and like everyone's got a thing. So I always used to, first of all, worry about pleasing everyone. And that's people pleasing is a lot of women do that. I also used to sometimes resent other people's success. And, you know, somebody else would get ahead of me, or especially when I used to work in the news business, it was very competitive, and somebody else would land a big interview and I didn't get it, and I would be mad at them for it. And, you know, that sometimes happens in book publishing too. It's a competitive business. And if I'm pursuing someone and somebody else gets that person, I now have to really learn, and I have learned through Amy's techniques and what she's taught me. She's also a licensed certified social worker and a psychotherapist, which is that, you know, you celebrate others, you lift everyone up. You can't walk around being jealous of other people. And that is often the human tendency, is to go dark and to go to those places. But it's definitely, she's just an amazing author, and all of her books are great. And you should go to her page. It's Amy Morin, LCSW. And she often does signed giveaways of her books. And she's just a very special person who consults with companies and individuals and writes a lot on Business Insider and a lot of pages, including Psychology Today. So check her out.
Wow, amazing. And so we've spoken to Lisa Sharkey of HarperCollins, but now I want to transition to Lisa Sharkey, the mother, you know, and you have a daughter that's home from college. So can you speak about how that's going and any tips that you might have for other parents who are in a similar position and, you know, also might be working from home as well?
Definitely. So my daughter's up in her room right now. There's a sign on her door that says, "I'm in class." So she's a sophomore at Washington University in St. Louis. She's my third of three children. I attended Washington University, as did my two sons, and now my daughter's a sophomore there. She was so excited to just come home from spring break in her sophomore year. She's studying Romance languages, French, Spanish, and Italian, and then her minor is entrepreneurship in the business school. So she's taking 18 credits, 6 courses. She is slammed with work. And imagine studying foreign languages and not being able to be in the room speaking those foreign languages. So I'm supporting her by giving her a wide berth, by supporting her through healthy and nutritious food, by trying to talk to her every day about how she's feeling, you know, how's it going? Are you connecting with your friends? Do you need anything from me? Is there anything I can do to help you? And then I have been making her really nutritious food because I work full time. I have not been someone who has sort of gone home and cooked really nutritious meals all the time. We have someone that usually has come in and helped us out, and she's not here. And so it's basically, I'm in charge of the food, and I make power shakes for Casey and I. I'll give you my recipe because it's delicious and super, super healthy. So I take Greek yogurt, I mix it with frozen mango, frozen raspberries, 1 packet of Emergen-C, which has got all these vitamins and minerals in it. And I either use the immune boosting one, which is a goji berry flavor, or I use like a tangerine one, which is also very high in vitamin C. And then I add some honey to that. And if I don't want it to be too sugary, I put in a little monk fruit sweetener, which is a natural fruit, no calories. And then if I, occasionally I'll add chia seeds to it, which is also really filling. And I'll make it in the blender so that it's super thick, almost because the Emergency is like an Alka-Seltzer, it like bubbles up and it's fizzy. It almost makes it into a bit of a sherbety shake. So that's something that we've been having, pretty much every day. And then I've been making some healthy dinners, but I'm trying to cut down on the gluten if possible. So I've been using Banza, which is a chickpea-based pasta that's got more protein than a regular pasta in it. And other than that, I feel like I'm there for her. We're trying to have a good time. We've been singing. I've asked her to teach me some of her, she's a hip hop dancer, so some of her TikToks, and there's this renegade one. It's like, I can't really do it, but I'm trying my best. And I asked her to play me what music she's into right now. And I just think music heals so many things. And, we keep up with the news, but she's not on it 24/7. And, she's doing her classes, and the school's been doing a great job. They've sent the books, but they can't send any of her clothes right now because they just, they have to be too careful with not being in close quarters. So all of her life, is still in her dorm room in Missouri while she's home in New York. Luckily, she's got, whatever she had left, and she can go in my closet anytime and wear any of my clothes that she wants. So that's basically how I'm supporting her.
Wow, I love all of that. But now transitioning and trying to tap into Lisa Sharkey, the yoga instructor, what are you doing for your self-care right now that other people should, maybe try out themselves?
Yeah, so yoga has been a part of my life since I'm about 15 years old, and I've always loved yoga and always practiced yoga. And I've had a yoga teacher who's been sort of my spiritual guru. Her name is Antonia Ka, and she has something called Yogia. And she and I communicate a lot. But last year, I decided that I wanted to take it one step further and become a certified yoga teacher. So I, through Core Power Yoga, took a 200-hour yoga certification course. And I can now teach a full class of yoga, which is great. And I've been doing some just for free. I don't ever teach yoga and charge people for it because I have a full-time job. So if I want to teach yoga, I've been FaceTiming with my friends and can do Zoom sessions, but also I've been taking yoga on Core Power Yoga's YouTube channel. They have live classes 3 times a day that are fantastic. They have 30-minute meditation classes. One technique that's really great that I've known for many years, but that they taught yesterday, is called alternate nostril breathing. And it's really good to just getting the energy flowing throughout your body. So I'm going to just quickly show you how to do it. So you're going to take your hand, do this with me. You're going to put your thumb over your right nostril. Okay. You're going to take these 2 fingers up, and you're going to put the pinky finger and your other finger on your left nostril. You're going to breathe in through your right nostril. Close it off. Breathe out through your left nostril. In through your left nostril. Close it off. Breathe out through your right. In through the right. Close it off. Out through the left. And so on and so on. Wow. Look this up on YouTube. Go to Core Power Yoga or just type in alternate nostril breathing. And this helps connect the yin and the yang in your body. And it's a really powerful and wonderful technique. So I highly recommend that as well.
Wow. I already feel a little more zen to me.
I get like a tingly feeling. And, there's also things that you can do with your arms and with mudras. You can make this mudra that's like a lotus flower. And just breathe in and breathe out and really try to feel your lungs completely filling up. And you can do different kinds of mudras. You just want to take care of yourself. Also, a lot of people might not be ergonomically sitting in the most comfortable positions right now. And if you're experiencing any pain in your back or your neck or your side, I urge you to try something called the Melt Method, which is founded by Sue Hitzman, and it involves basically hydrating your fascia, which is your connective tissue in your body. And oftentimes, when a sponge is dried out, you can almost crack that sponge in half. But when you fill it with water, it's pliable and feels great in your hands. So basically, the Melt Method, which is also available online, YouTube, and she's got a Facebook page, it teaches you how to hydrate the fascia so that you're not so creaky, and so that the different parts of your body are basically evened out. So what she can do is she can reset the system. So some people's hips might hurt, or they might be not even on both sides. So the first thing she does is a stress assess, where she has you lie on your back and look for stuck stress in your body. And then also look to see if both halves of your body are lying in the same way. When you lie down, are your thighs down on the ground? Is your middle back on the ground? Is there a large space between your lower back and the ground? How is your head feeling? How is your neck feeling? And then she takes you through these sort of core readjustments that will actually reset how your body handles these things. And this is something that I've also been practicing for years. Whenever I'm feeling a little bit out of whack, these are simple techniques that absolutely work. And it's, once again, the Melt Method, founded by Sue Hitzman. She has certain rollers and balls and things that she recommends, but you could really do this with any roller that you have in your house, or any little ball that you have, a golf ball, a tennis ball, a hacky sack, whatever.
Mhm. Wow, Lisa, thank you for all of this. This was great and very informative. For the Flawless family, if you want more from Lisa, the best way to reach her is Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn. And we'll be attaching all of that in the graphics below. But Lisa, thank you again so much.
You are so welcome. Have a beautiful day. Just know that love conquers fear. Namaste.
Namaste.